Hello, my name's Rob and welcome to Swift Slots. Now, this is a video that I had not intended to make. It's come out the blue and it's come out of necessity. Now, I do actually have a really big build in the background, almost ready to go live. In fairness, it should have gone live by now, but I got caught up on a couple of things and it's gotten waylaid by about a week. So about next weekend, that video will go up and I think it's worth the wait. So anyway, there's a lot of mopping up to do because this week has been weird for me in slot cars. There's been so many other things happening other than the build that I'm doing on the side that I had to make this quick video, quick-ish, to tell you what's going on. Now, I'm going to be and ahhing and don't know what to say because there's so many things. I'm just sort of blurting it out there. You have to kind of weed through it and work out what I'm trying to say. So first of all, you may have noticed that this channel has gone over 4K subs, and that's amazing and it blows my mind. And thank you to all my new viewers. Welcome, and I hope you find this content interesting. I'm not very good at presenting, I'm better at making things, but bear with me, hopefully it'll get better over time. So what else has happened other than the ridiculous number of subscribers that have come onto my channel? Well, the mini video that I did, the white mini, the little 1275 GT video that I did, that's gone mad. How on earth did 10,000 people watch that video? It's like the first one that I did for Rob's sale. What was that, about 6,500? I thought that was amazing, but 10,000, where did that come from? Anyway, that's led on to another thing. Rob contacted me saying how well that video went. And he said, would I be able to do a little bit of work on one of his other minis, which he will show you in a later video about a week's time from here. And I said, yeah, of course I will, bring it round. So he brought it round and he said, for doing the work, I'll give you a car. And that car was this E-Type Jag. Now, I've already worked on this E-Type Jag for Rob in the past because it wasn't handling the way he wanted it to. So I fiddled with it and we changed the tyres and bits and bobs and I thought it was okay and Rob was happy enough at the time. But then here it is, back in my ownership. He gave me this car for working on his car that he's going to show you in a week's time. And while he was here, we put my white 1275 GT against his yellow one that I did, 8 months ago. And we had a bit of a play. And that will all be revealed later on between myself and with Rob as well, because that was a bit of an adventure all by itself. So that's one bit of news. I've done a bit more work for Rob and I've got a new car out of it. I'm going to show you all these cars in a minute as well. So the next thing that happened about 2 days ago, if you recall, I did the Retro Power Project Minor Threat, the Purple Morris Minor. And that whole job and also the visit to Retro Power really, really well. It was well received by you guys and the Retro Power guys loved it and I thought nothing more of that and we move on. Well, Callum from Retro Power contacted me this weekend and said, Rob, would you like to come down to the den at Retro Power and bring all your tracks again? And I, yes, of course. So he said, can you bring some cool cars? Now I said, well, what's cool? And he said, well, your Alpine A310 would be lovely. I said, well, the trouble is that's my rally car, personal rally car. It's been tuned over like 2 or 3 years. It's an absolute ballistic machine. I use it for racing. I don't want the public thrashing it. So I said, I'll have to go and find some cars. And we had back and forth. And I was down my local club literally last night. And I bought this car from one of my club members. Now, he wasn't there at the time, so thank you. You know who you are, so thank you very much. Anyway, I bought this car, and it is, you have to forgive me because it's a name that I wasn't all that familiar with. It's an MSC. It's a Porsche 959. Anyway, it's a rocket ship. I've just finished tuning it because obviously I'm tuning it for Crow Valley, different purpose from the original owner, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to show you this in a minute as well. And also, during our conversation, Callum said to me, what I'd really like to do is get some of the original classic mini metros to have a bit of a mighty metro runoff with all the members of the guys that are going to this do in January and all the rest of it. And I said, I think I can help you there. So I went upstairs in my loft and you guys that have donated me cars have really come into your own. And I thank you all as well because you saved my bacon. Because up in my loft, I had 3 mini metros, all in various states of disrepair. So here are 2, and I'm going to show you them as well. And here are 2 of those. I'll show you them now. Here are the 2 cars I've got 3, but here are the 2 that I fully restored from that pile of mini Metros that you gave me. Now these are absolutely spot on now, between the PU tyres that I've already got and between the bits that you gave me and a motor that I had and some pinions, I've been able to put these cars together, the 2 of them, ready for that January run, and they're absolutely spot on. And also, to the same do in January, I should be taking this Audi. Now, this was also donated to me. So again, thank you to the guy that donated this one to me, because I restored this one probably, well, just before the Retro Power visit, because I took it to run on Rickard Valley for the guys as a practice warm-up before they ran on Crow Valley. So I actually took this one out the car donation box that I was given, completely restored it and tuned it. I didn't take out the wobbly front wheel, but I tuned the back end, put some weight in it, changed the guide to a Slotting Plus guide, put lights in it, or better lights, and now it runs really, really well. So that will be going back to Retro Power, and I'll show you that one as well running around, because I've not shown this one restored on the channel yet. Also, what have we got? This one is a car that again was donated to me, so it's ready to do. That is going to be restored as well, or put together in a race tune, same as this one. And this one will also be going to Retro Power as well. So again, thank you for that car as well, because I'll show you all these on the bench. And then also, now, here's the thing. When I did the Mini, the 1275 Mini, 1275 GT Mini, I got a little bit of flack on that video because it was a classic car and I'd wrecked it. And then I get a little bit of flack from the other videos that I do when I take old cars. And honestly, they're not worth much. I wouldn't pay a lot of money to then, well, do it. I was going to say upgrade it, but some people don't see it as that. To do it up. These cars are, I buy almost all my cars on eBay. So they're up for auction to the world. I buy them because nobody else did, and I never pay a lot of money for them because what's the point? So the cars that I'm restoring, they're not actually worth that much. They've been out to the world for 40, 50 years or 40 years. Nobody has wanted them up to the point that I bought them, because that's why they're up for sale. And I bought them and I've shown you guys to the world my little restorations. And this car is exactly the same. Now, this is what I'm told it's a very rare Escort C52. Now, I'm told that these are rare. But if you go on eBay, they're always there. They're always about £27, £20, £30, that sort of £15. I actually watched one go through eBay literally this week, because I'll come on to that. And it literally sold for £17 or about $20. A white one, a white C52. So they're not worth that much money and they're not rare. So whenever I do anything to these cars, I'm not wrecking history. I'm just doing what I do. But everyone else has had the chance to buy them and they haven't. Anyway, the reason why I say that is because this one is going to Retro Power as well, to the den. And this one, I use this car on the little figure of 8 track that I've got, the garage track, because the back tyres are, to coin a phrase, knackered. They're just that side of the bad, but they're still vaguely usable, and it drifts so well. Now, obviously, drifting isn't great if you don't want the car to drift, but if you want a car to control and drift, this little original Scalextric car, not only is it super cool, it also drifts extremely well. So that's why that one's going back to the den, like it went to the den a couple of months ago, and it's going back there. It's going back on the little figure of 8 track because it just drives so well on that track. These tyres, I don't know how long they're going to last for before they sort of completely fall apart, but they're just right. And I'm going to run this from around the track as well, and you'll see what I mean. So I think that, oh no, I missed out one of the good bits. So back on eBay, obviously I'm always on eBay. I really should stop, but I can't. I found this car. Now, you'll forgive me because I don't know the numbers. It is a C26 and it was £16. Buy it now. I could not believe it. Like, I really like my vintage Formula One cars, and I really like the innocence of the original Scalextric cars, because these original early ones are really quite nice. They're quite nicely detailed for early 70s toys. They're really quite cool. So this one is almost perfect. It's got some faults, but I don't really mind. This won't be done up, by the way. I'm gonna get it to running condition, but it's not gonna be, I'll tell you in a minute on the table, but yeah, it's absolutely stunning. So I picked this one up as well this week for, like I say, £16, so what, $18 or something along those lines. So there's a lot going on this week. So my main project has been delayed by a few days. I had Rob Sale, I had Callum turn up, I had a few or email me, I had a couple of other projects that I've bought in, and I've been to a club and I found an amazing car, and I've been up in the loft and I've restored some of these cars that you've already given me. Lots and lots going on. So I'm going to get you on my table and I'm going to briefly show you these cars one at a time, and I'll run some of them around Ricard Valley quickly just so that you can see them running. And a big thank you to the guys that gave me the cars that you see on this table, and a big thank you to you guys who have just subscribed to me. The channel suddenly exploded from nowhere. I guess it's because the evenings are getting longer and it's getting colder and you've all come in and started watching YouTube. But anyway, thank you for coming. So let's get you on my table and I'll show you all these cars, and then we'll get on Ricard Valley, running around the track just so that you can see them in motion. So let's crack on. Let's get you on my table. Okay, so let's start off with these wonderful Metros that I was given. Now I'm sure these two Metros came in one box, but I have been given a few of these, so forgive me if these came from two different people. But these were all kind of missing parts because they're all ready to sort of rejuvenate or use in projects, and as you can see I've done exactly that. They're fully completely restored and absolutely 100% in perfect running order. And like I say, it was Callum who wanted the original Metros, so now we've got a pair of original Metros all ready to race on Crow Valley in January when I go to the Den. Now Retro Power will be showing that video, I'm sure, so you'll be able to see these running in competition amongst the public who want to enter onto the track and see how well they do. So these particular cars, they were covered in the water slides. Now they'd all gone a little bit kind of crusty, and I'm not a great fan of the water slides when they're put on these cars. They never really quite look right, and also over time they do tend to sort of go a bit manky and a bit cracked, and they don't look very good. So what I discovered is if you put a bit of really hot water, not really hot enough for you not really to want to put your hand in, but not boiling, so really quite hot, and then with a little bit of washing up liquid, and just dip the car momentarily in that really hot water, long enough for you to barely stand it with your own hand. That's kind of how hot it is. And then once you've done that for just a few seconds, 90% of the water slides will scratch off with your thumbnail, and the rest will come off with a toothbrush, and they come off really easily like that. And I've got them all off these skirts and everything else, and they've come up really well. They look so much different from when they were in the box. So in the box they looked a bit sort of dirty and a little bit kind of sorry for themselves, but now they've been washed and scrubbed and got all the old tampo prints off, or the water slides. They look absolutely fantastic, and they run really well. So as you can see, I haven't actually done a great deal to these cars, but what I have done is obviously I fitted some brand new braid. I haven't put my normal 0.2 braid on, just normal 0.3 stuff, because they're only supposed to be kind of sort of just for a bit of nostalgic fun. So we got nice new braids, nice new silicone wire. On this particular car, I've actually hot glued the motor in because it was a little bit loose in the pod, and this particular, the blue car, made a bit more noise than the red one. So I found out that it was just the motor just sort of wobbling around. So I put a bit of hot glue on either side just to sort of bond that motor in. And that's about it, apart from some PU tyres. Now I make PU tyres, I've done them for the Capri, and they also obviously fit the Metros. So I put a fresh set of PU tyres on the back, fresh set on the front. I've trued them up so they run nicely. Obviously rebuilt the car, and I also put a little bit of hot glue on the tops of those bearings just to pack them out with a little bit of something, so that when the interior comes down and the forks, so that that's the bearing, the fork comes down and it pushes against the top of the bearing. Sometimes there's a bit of a gap between the bearing there, sort of the bearing and the fork. So I put a bit of hot glue on top of the bearing, and then it just means that the fork can just sort of come down and touch the bearing on the inside, and that just takes away some of that movement in the back end. The movement you see there is just slack on the axle and in the bearing. It's not the bearing moving, but it takes away a lot of that movement. So between bonding the motor in and putting a little bit of hot glue on the bearings, it's made these cars really quiet. I've also put a little bit of the silver insulation tape just on the front of that interior there on the bonnet, and a little bit down the side as well on the inside, just to stop that interior from rattling a little bit. So that's all I've done to these cars, apart from a good clean, and gone through all the parts and just made sure they've got really good parts. And now I've also got two really nice mini Metros, and they're really nice. They run really well. So with regards running really well, let's nip over to Ricard Valley, and you can see these cars running very nicely. Okay, so let's move on to my awesome Audi that I was also donated. And this car got restored to sort of a semi-race tune just before that retro power visit, because I wanted a car that could go onto Ricard Valley that the guys in the workshop could practice on without fear of it breaking, and it's quite robust and it looks quite smart. It's a British touring car, or German touring car I suppose, whatever. But yeah, so they could sort of familiarise themselves with a bit of slot car racing, and it's a car that we're vaguely familiar with on the British roads, and you know, it's like a British racing car really. So what I've done to this one, I haven't done much really. I've just got some SRC back tyres because they're really, really good. I changed the back axle, put some better bearings in it, some brass bearings. I put a 27 tooth slotted crown gear in there, standard motor but a metal pinion, and that isn't a magnet, that's just lead, and I've added some lead in the side as well. I put a slotting plus guide on the front, and I've left the wobbly front axle in, but I have made some axle spacers to control that side float there. And that's about it. I haven't actually lightened this car or done anything with it like that, but it goes extremely well. It's a very, very, very good, sure-footed, quick car. Now, I'm going to regret taking this body off. I'm sure I am, because I've got the lighting system in here, and it's a little bit... Hang on, have I got... Is there another screw down there? I can't honestly remember how... Oh, yes, there is. There is a one down there. But this is a really, really good car. I was really surprised at how well it went. When I finished sort of lightly restoring it, I put it on Ricard Valley to test it, and it went extremely well. There we go. Right, so this is what I've done to it. You can see there's about 3 or 4 grams of lead on either side, and then you can see the metal. Oh, I haven't actually put metal bearings in it. Crumbs, I thought I had. No, just metal spacers then. So metal spacers to control the end float, and then the standard nylon bearings, and obviously a better gear. And this is what I've done to the lighting system. So I put a little plug in there. So there we are. So the original lights used to go in this little holder here. It's a little filament bulb, and it was going up into a metal pocket here, which then trapped the light and sent it down these tubes. Now, it was a little bit faded, so there wasn't a lot of strength to those lights. It really didn't look very good. So what I did is I've taken away the little metal post that goes in there, and I put 2 LEDs in heat shrink tubing, one facing red, one facing backwards, and a red one facing backwards and a white one facing forwards, or blue in fact, because like a modern LED light. And I've trapped them in the ends of those tubes. Hopefully you can see that. And then I've wrapped them in a bit of black felt to sort of keep the light in. So the light has to go through the tubes and nowhere else. So the heat shrunk onto the ends of these rods, and also the LED is inside the heat shrink as well. So the light is trapped, and it sends it straight down these rods into the back, and it's very, very effective. The lights are really, really good, and I put it on a little fly lead here so that I can unplug the car. And that's about all I've done really, but it goes extremely well. I'm very, very pleased with it. So I was so pleased with it, in fact, that it's going back to Retro Power in January, so that they can practice with it again, or anybody else that wants to play with it. So, you know, these cars that got donated to me, they really are going to a good home, and they're really being sorted out and used for very good effect. I'm going to struggle to put this back again, but I'll do that in a minute. Anyway, let's watch this car go around Ricard Valley. Okay, so we move on to this very, very nice car. This again is a donated car to the channel. So again, whoever gave me this car in that box of cars, thank you very much. I'm slowly working my way through that box of 8 cars that I had. This is definitely going to be sorted out, and this is also going to be joining the Audi down at the den so the guys can use it and practice with it, because it's an absolutely fantastic car. Who doesn't love a red Alfa Romeo of this particular age? It's such a cool car. Now, this particular car hasn't got anything going for it as yet. I don't know, can I take him apart in the heat of the moment? Why it doesn't? There we go. Yes, kind of. Hang on, bear with me a minute. There we go. It's a bit of a struggle, that one. It seems to sort of bind itself up on the lights. But there we are. So I haven't done anything with it at all. So she's a bare chassis. So we'll get some decent running gear in this one. So the tyre is a little bit worse for wear. But that's absolutely great. This is fantastic, because all the bits that I don't want aren't on this car anyway. So these are a great way to have these cars. So I've only got one set of those rear wheels. Obviously these fronts are completely the wrong wheels. That's the Lambo wheel, I think. But I'm going to make a set of these back wheels in a moulding. Because it'd be so hard to find these wheels, and they'd be so not cost effective to actually buy these on eBay. It'll cost me more money than anything else to just the postage alone. So I'm going to make a little resin casting of these wheels, and I shall use those resin castings to go on the front. And I'll obviously get some decent tyres all round, and I'll put some decent lights in it. These are really good because you can just put the bulbs directly into the front end there and directly into the back, and it's really good lighting. So this one is going to be all done up, and you will see this when it goes down to the den with retro power. You will see this car running around in January, and it'll be joining the Audi. So let's have a no, we won't look at this one on the turntable or even on Ricard Valley because can't run it, look. Anyway, I'm getting excited. Anyway, beautiful car. Thank you for giving it to me. And this one will also be joining us on the channel later on. Okay, so let's have a little look at the Escort that I bought a few months ago. Now, the reason why I bought this car, and I bought it cheap, was because I was going to do a massive upgrade to this car. I was literally going to give it a repaint, and I was going to put a massive running gear in it and everything else, and it was going to be like the Binky build, absolutely monstrous Escort. But I bought it and I absolutely couldn't do it to this car because it is in such nice condition and runs so well after a bit of a clean up and a go through. I couldn't do it, so I ended up just keeping it as a completely stock car. And here we are. It's absolutely fantastic condition and it runs really well. I know she's a bit slidey, and you'll see that in a minute, but I've deliberately kept it that way because it works extremely well around that figure of 8 track. And you'll see how slidey it is, but it does get a little bit of grip, just enough to use. And around that figure of 8 track, it's a really challenging car, and it's a brilliant drift car. It's really nice, and because it's going so slowly, it's never going to get damaged. And that's great. It really does preserve the car. So there we are. So that is it. So I couldn't use this car, so I've kept it as stock. Then I bought another body shell from my good friend of the channel, Mac. He got me a fantastic body shell that I was going to use for the project, the same project I bought this for. And that is also so good, I can't bear to use that one either as the intended video. So I bought another white body shell from Mac just this week, and I'll be using that one for a mega build, the same as I just done the Mini 1275 GT. I'm going to do it exactly the same as that one, but this one that's coming I think may have already been painted a little bit, or at least it's gone a bit yellow. It's certainly not a mint car, so we can definitely paint that one and make it look just as nice as that 1275 GT that I've just done. And we'll upgrade the standard chassis with the alloy wheels and all the upgraded running gear, and we'll see if we can get that one to go really well. And also it'll be a really nice stablemate for the 1275 GT Mini that I've just done, because they'll both be exactly the same, the standard cars, painted the same, and hopefully they'll go very similar with all upgraded running gear, but still standard cars. So that is a video that's coming, and that's the reason why this car hasn't been used. Another reason why I haven't done the Escort video yet. But trust me, the Escort video is literally only a few weeks away. I just need to clear out a couple of projects, and then we'll be on to that Escort. But it definitely is coming, and this was the reason why I started the ball rolling with that Escort video, but never did, and that's why it's late, because I've ended up buying 3 cars. Each time I buy them, they're too nice to use, and I keep moving on and finding a one that's worse. Anyway, I digress. So let's have a look at this one going around Ricard Valley, and you'll see how slidey she really is. So, one of the things that Cal said that he wanted to see going around Crow Valley in January is cool cars. Now, last night I went to my club And we got a little bring and buy display stands there where members can dump their unwanted cars, and you know, we can look in the cabinet, and over the course of hours, weeks or months we can buy them if we want. And this particular car was in that cupboard. Now I do know the guy who owned this car. I've owned him since he was very, very young, in fact. And it's an absolutely fantastic car. So I photographed it and I sent it to Cal from Retro Power that evening. I said, is this a cool car? And he said, yes, it certainly is. And I could see the potential of this car, because we really do need a very fast car for Crow Valley, so it's sure-footed and you can get a really good time, because not everybody wants to struggle with an old vintage Metro. They really want to put the hammer down and get some really fast laps. So this car is a really good buy. I've changed the gearing for some gearing that's more favourable to Crow Valley, because the gearing that was in it was a little bit fast for Crow Valley, where Crow Valley is only a small track. So this is a lot better. I've got an 8-tooth brass pinion on there with a 28-tooth crown, and that's got this power band exactly where I want it. I've got some really, really nice Pendle slot F15 rear tyres, and they are really, really grippy, and they grip like mad. A really, really fast car, this one. I haven't done anything with the guide because the guide wasn't really a problem. I made some brass shims on the front axle just to get the front axle right, because it used to have a four-wheel drive pulley, because this car is actually made by MSC, and I didn't know a huge amount about it. It was one of those cars that came out in between the sort of 90s and now, when I sort of wasn't into slot cars. I was flying model helicopters for 15 years, and this car came out during that period, so I kind of missed it. But as you can see, it's very, very lightweight and flexible body. I've got a nice bit of body float, a chassis float in there as well, and it's just a really nice car. So now I've completely reset it up. It absolutely goes like you wouldn't believe. It's such a fast and rapid car. It's going to absolutely fly around Crow Valley. Now, I haven't driven it hard around Rickard Valley, as you'll see in a minute, but I do know it's going to be an absolute monster on Crow Valley. So this is going to be a really, really nice car for the public to drive on Crow Valley and get a really fast time and be really competitive with the racing that's going to happen in January. So let's run this one around Rickard Valley, and we can get a flavour of how she goes. And at some point I'll take this one to Crow Valley and I'll give you a proper time. I really put the hammer down, probably make a short and show you this thing going at absolute full chat. Right, so with Rob Sale's Mini all done up and he's happy with it, you will see it at some point very, very soon. He unloaded this beautiful Jaguar E-Type on me for the work that I'd given him, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. This is such a nice car. Like I say, Rob brought this to me a few months ago because it wasn't doing what he wanted it to do, and we ended up putting some Pendle slot tyres on there, and that improved it slightly, and I thought it was going okay. And I also put a magnet in there. Magnet didn't do an awful lot. And Rob couldn't really get it to handle the way he liked it on his track. And he's having a bit of a clear out of the stuff he's sort of impulse bought over the years. And he's decided that, you know, sometimes he just wants now to just sort of focus and sort of streamline his collection. And this car was just a purchase on a whim. And it's not performing the way he wants it to, so he's decided to give it to me. And to be honest, I hope he thinks that's a good home. I absolutely love the car. I think it's fantastic. No, it doesn't run the best. It runs okay, but it doesn't run the best. I'm not that bothered because it's still a lovely car and it still runs. So tell me in the comments, guys, what do you want me to do with this car? Shall I just leave it as one of these Spanish Skeletrix cars? In my other sort of collection of Spanish cars, or shall I just give it a little bit of a sort of a sorting out? I think really the big problem with it is the gears. They're a little bit coarse. They're not particularly nice gears. So I think probably with a motor change, a pinion and a gear change, obviously bearings and axles probably after that, and a new guide, just some basic upgrading in the running gear and put a little bit of weight in there, I think this car will turn into a really, really nice car to drive. It's not bad now, but it goes much better on an MDF track than it does a plastic track apparently. So because Rob drove it here and so on. But yeah, tell me what you want me to do with it, because I don't mind either way. I'm happy to keep it as it is. and I'm happy to sort of sprinkle a little bit of magic dust across the bottom and make it go a little bit nicer. So let's see this one going around Ricard Valley and you'll see what I mean. Okay, on to my, what I consider to be a mega purchase from eBay. This is another one of those up at 2 o'clock in the morning on eBay and probably spending money that I shouldn't do. But, I mean, come on. Oh, that's just come off. So let's pop that back on again. But, yeah, as I was going to say, when I put the wing back on, who can resist? This was £16. It was a buy it now, £16 including the box. So I spent $18. I thought, what a fantastic car. I like these early Formula One cars from Scalextric because there's a lot more detail in them than the sort of the late 70s cars. And they're just honest. They're very, very pretty cars. I can't say I'm a massive fan of the front wing, but it's just so cool. So it's got a couple of bits of issues with it. So we're missing one of the tailpipes. So I'm going to make a video out of this one. Now, I'm not going to wreck this one. I'm not going to go berserk with it. I'm just going to clean it all up. I'm going to put some decent back tyres on it because these tyres do not grip. I had thought about showing you this one going Ricard Valley now, but to be honest with you, like I say, I'm going to make a video on this one anyway. And these tyres are absolutely hopeless. I've tried to sand them. I've tried to put thinners on them. I've tried to clean them and everything. I cannot get these tyres to grip. It's just not worth you showing you this car. Imagine a car on ice doing about a foot per sort of every 10 seconds. And that's kind of what this car is. But yeah, so it's apart from that, apart from the back tyres, it goes really well. The motor all works great. It all runs perfectly. It's just a lovely, lovely car. And the box is also actually in really, really good condition. I was very, very pleased with that. I'm going to give that a bit of a tea-cut and a polish up as well. I'll bring the box up and make the box look nice. I'm going to clean all the car up as well. We're going to put some new rubber on the back. I did put a pair of new front braids on the front because the braids that are on it were absolutely beyond hope. They were unusable. So I put a fresh set of braids on it and tried to run it around, but say it wasn't really working all that well, so no grip. So I'm going to make a video on this at some point. I'm going to clean it all up. We're going to put some decent tyres on it and we're going to run it around Crow Valley. And I'm going to make a new exhaust tip out of aluminium, and then we'll see. We'll see what time it gets. But who cares? It's such a nice thing. I could not resist buying it. So there you are. That's my ramblings as a little bit of an infill video because so much has happened and my main video has been a little bit delayed. But there we are. So we got some cars that I bought, some cars that I've been given and I've restored, some cars that I've restored previously and haven't shown you, and then a car that I've bought there recently, and an old car that I bought and running around and so on and so forth. So there we are. A bit of a rambling video, I know, but you know, it is what it is. So I hope that you've enjoyed this sort of content. It's rubbish, I know, but there you are. And if you have, maybe you could hit the little bell button. That would be awesome. And maybe you could still keep subscribing. So until the next time, thank you very much.